Well, we're a genuine U.S. military surplus store, and we specialize in U.S. military equipment and gear, clothing, anything that the military men and women would use out in the field. But recently, with all these emergencies we've had nationwide, we've been trying to zero in on things that people should have on hand at all times in case of an emergency. But this is the old Kapalama Military Reservation. It was an Army base, started in 1938. Stayed an Army base until 1992, when it was turned back over technically to the state of Hawaii. The end of my building just happens to have been the morgue for Vietnam. 35,000 men came through here. When they first started bringing them back by boat, they found that they wanted to be sure to have them checked first to make sure they weren't bringing any diseases or anything back on the bodies. So they said, stop in Hawaii, have them checked there. So they turned our morgue into the main station to do the checking. They found out that about 40% of them had to be re-embalmed because of the lack of the proper amount of embalming fluid in Vietnam. And so we're really trying hard to put this building on the state preservation list, because we don't want people to forget our boys came through here. And we've got a little building right in front of ours, which was the chapel. And a lot of the families who knew their sons were coming in would come and pick up their sons and escort them home. And we want people to know that we honored our Vietnam vets when they came through here. They were given the utmost respect, and they were kept on base on the location with a 24-hour armed guard. It's the only place in Hawaii during Vietnam War that there was a 24-hour armed guard on a building, and this was the building. And rest assured, when they got here, they were treated like what they were, which is heroes coming home. And we want to try to preserve that. We're trying very hard to get this put on the state preservation's list, and we're praying. I remember one year here in Hawaii when we had a tsunami that was about to hit Oahu, and we have to contend with tourists, which they have nothing. They come, they've got their suitcases and their bathing suit and their aloha oil to wear out the beach. They forget we have these emergencies. We had one tsunami, and they started announcing, asking everybody in Waikiki to head to higher ground, and they were sent up to told to go to the University of Hawaii, which is about 6 miles away up the hill. And I remember I live near the overpass, and I stood on the overpass, and all of a sudden I looked towards Waikiki, and there's hordes of people running towards me, and I'm going, oh, the university's behind me, higher up on the hill. And I kept telling people, don't run, don't run, you're far enough away from the ocean, you know, you're safe here. And right about then, as we looked down on the freeway, it was an absolute gridlock. The cars were moving nowhere, and as they were announcing on the radio, it should be approaching within, we're expecting the tsunami to hit within 15 minutes. This was before we had the tsunami buoys here in Hawaii, so we didn't know. And you saw people jumping out of their cars, trying to climb up the side of the freeway where the heavy cement is 30 feet high. You saw people standing on each other's shoulders trying to get everybody out of the way, leaving their cars in the middle of the road. And I thought, there's got to be a better way. But luckily now with tsunami buoys, we've been very lucky and fortunate being able to project what's coming, how big. But we still have those few brainless few that have to go right up to the shore to watch it come in, and as my son always says, that's what you call improving the gene pool. So it happens, but the main thing is if people would just be ready. In our case, we're in Hawaii, so we have the worry of hurricanes, tsunamis, God only knows what else can hit us, but we're ready. Everybody should have a minimum of 3 months worth of food on hand in their house for each person in that house. And then also on the mainland, same thing. You should have a minimum of at least 1 month's worth of food. You're a little bit better able to get food faster and supplies faster than we are here on an island. So it's something that's really, it's worthwhile always having on hand, just to have that extra, whew, I'm okay. In fact, nowadays when people are having such a hard time with the economy, they're losing jobs left and right, how can I go out and buy food for my kids? I can't afford to. Wait a minute, I got food stored up. Let's go see what we can make with this, or what little bit we can add to this and make. You can make up a big pot of beans and throw in a little bit of meat and make a big pot of a big meat stew, or beans, or ham hock and beans or something. But people have to learn to think. Our economy hurts. We're all hurting. So this type of stuff saves people money, because you put it out all at once, you think, God, that's a lot of money. But when it comes time to, when you have no money left and you need food, this is the easy way. You turn to what you've got stored. And just remember, that's why you bought it, and that's why you stored it. It's for emergencies. And darn it, when you don't have a job and you don't have money for food, that's an emergency. Time to go look into the cupboard and get stuff out and start using it. And no shame, we've all been there. So don't feel like you're the only one. Just make sure you've got it there when you need it. So little by little, what I do is I buy other stuff when it's on sale. When the spaghetti goes on sale for $1 a package, I buy 3 packages. One goes into the supply and the others go on my shelf. But I always keep buying stuff when it's on sale, and then about every 3 months or so I rotate it. Make sure that I get the old stuff out and swap it with something new. Yeah, be careful about your canned food, because if it's been stored too long, you can tell if there's botulism in it. It starts bloating, and sometimes I walked into older people's homes and opened the closet because you smell something, and you'll see where cans have exploded. They've been in there for 5 or 6 years, and botulism gets in them and they'll explode. Same thing even with the MREs and whatnot. If you see an MRE package that's been it's puffed out as far as it can go, it's strutted as can be, take it outside and open it up, because don't open it in the house because it does smell. And you can open up the package. Each of those are separately sealed, so you can easily open that MRE package and find the one package that's no good. Throw it away, and you've still got the rest that's good to eat. And same thing with any type of canned goods. When you're storing anything for long term, for emergencies, don't use glass. Don't buy your spaghetti sauce in the glass containers, because one bump against it and you're going to break that glass. You'll have spaghetti sauce on everything. So what you want to do is buy the cans, but again, like I said, about every 3 months, rotate them. Say, hey, tonight's canned spaghetti sauce night, and get that can out and rotate it. Make sure, put the dates on the can when you bought it. Put the date on the can, and that way you'll know literally within a year, use it. And that way you're making use of your stored stuff. Okay, basically what this is your dehydrated food, which it lasts longer, of course, than your MREs. Your MREs are good for about 4 to 6 years if they're kept in a cool place. These are good until they're opened. These are good 25 to 30 years until they're opened. I've had mine in storage for close to 15 years. This is dried food, so you do have to add water to it, and it needs to be cooked, most of it. But boy, when you get into it, it's good. There's like cappuccino mix. Another thing is, I got into the cheddar cheese mix one night because I was really hungry for nachos and I didn't have any cheese. And I thought, wait a minute, yes I do. But when you open it, once you open it up, what I've done is turn around and put it into a Ziploc bag, all the balance into a Ziploc, so that it doesn't absorb any moisture and become hard clumps. In Hawaii, we have to worry about that. On the mainland, you don't have that much problem, but here we do. But these are great because if your power is going to be out for a long time, MREs are very expensive at, $10 plus each. Whereas this is, you get a whole month's supply of food for, it's enough for one person for $235, which is great if you stop and think about it. So it's a lot of food, or it's enough for 4 people for 1 week, but again, this has to be cooked. So, but they do have recipes in there. It tells you how to prepare it in case you don't know how to cook lentils, if you've never done that before. But it's got oatmeal, you've got your non-fat dry milk, you've got chicken broth, you've got unbleached flour, which you can make things with it. In other words, it tells you what else you can buy to throw with the package, so that you'll be able to survive without freaking out and what am I going to do next? We can't get to McDonald's, it got blown away, now where do we eat? Oh, I have, yeah, we have what people would need. Like I said, we've got the MREs, we have the fire starters. Again, these are things that are used by the military for camping and whatnot. We have the 24-hour candle, which is always good to have. It's a candle that'll stay lit 24 hours. If you need it, you've got it. We have the little camping stoves. You just add sterno to it. It's good to go. Of course, we have all the military clothing, the backpacks and whatnot. This is the MRE. That's a meals ready to eat. It's got a main dish, a side dish, a snack, a dessert, a hot drink and a cold drink, and the heater. So all you do is add a little bit of water to the magnesium heater. You can heat the food up. But it is, as it says, it's meals ready to eat. You don't have to heat it up. You can tear it open and go ahead and eat it. It's ready to go. It's self-contained. It's about 3,500 calories, which is a lot. But under stress, your body's burning up more. You use it, but if you had to, you could live on one a day. If you needed to stretch it out that far, it can be done. That's what the Rangers do when they're out in the field in Ranger training. They're only given one MRE a day to train with when they're going full force. So, of course, they do come back skinny. We have, again, like I said, the 24-hour candle, the magnesium fire starters. Now, these are great because magnesium fire starters, in case everything is damp or wet and you want to start a fire and the kindling is wet, it'll be hard to start because it's going to be smoky. What happens when you use magnesium, it heats it to 5,400 degrees, so it instantly dries out your kindling. So you end up with a real dry fire very quickly because that flare will burn up all the moisture, and then you have a regular dry fire. Much easier. So something that all campers or hikers should carry with them just in case. Another thing is a whistle, but with that whistle, it can definitely bring people to you, especially out if you're hunting or hiking. People who are out there in that atmosphere are aware that a whistle is not a normal sound, so they're going to automatically be drawn towards that noise, knowing that somebody is probably in distress. A whistle, if you go hiking, hunting, camping, whatever, always have a whistle. If you slip and fall, you can only yell for 5 minutes before you lose your voice, and it can only be heard for up to 1/4 of a mile, whereas a whistle can be heard up to 3/4 of a mile, and you can use that whistle to your dying breath. It'll still go tweet with that last breath if you have to, but we don't want to think of it that way.